Yes, I've always had rivalries in my studio.
Everyone has one.
Yes, I always pit kids against each other. It's just what I do. Yeah, so Gianna's rivalry is right behind us.
I don't know if she was my rivalry, but maybe she was. Guys, this is a real person. I'm sure you knew that.
Yeah, that's Amanda Stolito.
She was my duet partner.
She was my duet partner, and she was late and not on time and didn't have the music and probably didn't know what she was doing. Beautiful girl, beautiful dancer, professional dancer, worked for many, many, many years at Tokyo Disney and blah, blah, blah. But you have to have somebody at the ballet bar that is standing next to you.
Yes.
Somebody whose leg is maybe a little bit higher one day and the next day yours is higher. So everybody has their rival, their competitor, someone that you stand next to the ballet bar or across the ballet bar, and you just keep that eye in the mirror at your leg, but then also you're looking at their leg back and forth and back and forth. And that's what makes you a better dancer. So you kids with these private lessons, I get it. For choreography, it's great. Maybe if you're having trouble with a certain trick or you were sick and you were out, that's fine. But you need to be in class. Even if it's a virtual class with us on Sundays, you need to be in class because we are going to pit you against somebody and you are going to work that much harder. So, back to the competition. I was so sick and tired of hearing, let's have both kids do the same dance. We'll teach them the same routine. And may the best man or little girl win. Well, woo, did this backfire on me. We sat in the audience, we watched the routines, the scores come, and the kid wins.
So I would always have to go, fight with the moms or talk with the moms.
Fallout.
Do the whole,
Fallout.
thing at the end of the competition, where they're either in trouble if they lose or happy if they win and this and that. So the competition will hand me the music, the score sheets, any of the extra ribbons or trophies that they left behind, or anything like that.
Because they can get to her. She's talking to everybody and schmoozing, booking herself other jobs, and I'm sequestered with the psychos.
And so I got the paperwork, and I never look at it. I never really look at it. I just hand it to either the producers or hand it to Abby or set it down
in your bag. Yeah.
And I opened it up just because, I guess they've been taking a long time during Fallout or something. And I opened it up, and I looked at the scores, and I can't remember exactly, but so it was 50 for choreography, so 47 out of 50, 47.5 out of 50.
Right. Technique,
25. Well, one of them said 30 out of 25.
So how can a kid get 30 points for appearance when it's only worth
Out of 25. So that's where the higher score came in, and I said, wait a minute. This is wrong. Did they mean to write 20? Or how can you get a 30, in school, on a math test, how do you get a 30 out of 25? Impossible. So I took it back and I said, I don't know what this is, but this score is wrong. This is wrong. Or somebody wanted it to be
The
wrong.
math is wrong, or the judge just thought, I'm gonna throw this down and see if it goes through. Or it was a simple clerical error.
Right.
They thought it was 30 out of 30
Yeah.
instead of 30 out of 25. Right, so 25 out of 25. So, then you come to me.
And then it was an uproar, but I'm like, we didn't do it.
An uproar. I felt like I was crucified. Like it was insane.
It wasn't us.
It was that we couldn't take it that this other kid beat this kid and the favorite didn't win and look out and blah, 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 blah. No. If the competition made an error, competition needs to fix the error. Just like on Miss America. You announced the wrong girl, you better fix it right then and there.
And they
Can't
did.
let it fester.
And they did, and they came back in and they said the right thing, and it was the other one that won. But that was our fault.
Yeah. How
We
was
did
it
our
our fault?
I just can't believe I found it.
We were so angry that somebody else could win because we were so mean and we were so nasty and we hated that little girl. That's all BS. That is ridiculous. Yes. Every kid comes in the studio and you love somebody.
So that's what really happened.
Right. So that's that. So are the competitions fixed? No. And that's a huge issue with doing a television show that revolves around competitions. First of all, these competitions would lose their shirts if everybody thought they were fixed. That could never happen. And the integrity of the show, the integrity of the world of competition, of going to these competitions every single weekend, if they were all fixed. I mean,
Dance Moms was so influential in the competition world that I think if anything would have went haywire or been negative towards the competition, they literally would have went out of business.
right. And we wouldn't have had any competition to go to. Now, there's another competition. There's always exceptions to the rules or to the norm, and there was an exception. And I boycotted, if you will, a competition. And the woman who owned it, who was lovely to us and nice to us in the beginning, everything was great. She came into our dressing room, accused one of the girls, I think it was Nia, of being a liar.
Or Kendall, yeah.
Somebody was a liar, and somebody was this, and somebody was that, and I was.
She said it right to the kid.
Oh,
too.
right to the kid in the dressing room with the parents, and I was appalled. And from that moment, and what was going on backstage, and it was like they pretended they had listening devices backstage so they could overhear us, which they just were making stuff up. It was out of control. I'd never been involved in anything like that. I've never, had a competition director come into a dressing room and talk to a child like that. It was, I could talk to the kid that way, they're my students, but somebody else that we're paying to attend their competition, no way. So when it came, I had told the network, I had told the production company, we're never going to that again. We're not going to that competition. Sure enough, they have us going to the competition. I said, I'm not going. I told this one, you're not going. I told the mothers, we're not going. If we band together and we don't go, they don't have a TV show to shoot. If you guys break and you're little weasels and you go without me, then they have a show to shoot and it's all about Abby didn't show up, Abby's not, Abby this, Abby that. No. So we won the Kids' Choice Awards. We went and we won a Kids' Choice Award. And it was fabulous. And it was the first Kids' Choice Award that network ever won. I mean, come on, they're not a kids network, they're not a children's show. We heard that every other day, right? The next day, I was not going. I had a really rough night. I was really sick. And I had all this cramping in my legs, and the paramedics had to come to my hotel room. It was awful. So I did, that was an excuse. But I knew I wasn't going. And I was fined $80,000. $80,000. That's my mom and dad's life savings that they gave me to buy the land to build my building in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. That was my dad worked for 43 years for the railroad. And that was his life savings. And they fined me that for not going to a competition that I thought was fixed. And I still believe it was. I mean, it was ridiculous. Not so much fixed like cheating and scoring and this and that, but when you hire the judges for the competition, if you hire 3 top judges that don't like acrobatics and don't like contemporary or this or that, or if you hire 3 ballet judges, prima ballerinas who are retired, who don't like acrobatics or this or that, as the competition director, if your judges like this or like that, you know what they eat at lunch, you know what they order, you know if they want to go out to dinner at the end of the competition or if they don't. You know all this because you've hired them over and over again. So I think in that sense, kind of know what they're going to like and what they're not going to like. And I did not trust this woman as far as I could see it. And the mothers were so afraid they were going to not get their bonus. I thought they were all independently wealthy and without a TV show, they would all be living in mansions and so would their children. I didn't think the TV show had anything to do with that, so I don't know why they were worried about a bonus. There was one other competition. I knew it was going to be a shit show.
I already know the one you're thinking.
I know. I mean, I learned though, I got my big fine, and this was also the Nationals. This was the finale of the season, so I, had to go. My attorney would have been driving me himself.
Do you guys remember the Nationals with the dance, the waiting room?
An amazing routine.
And what happened?
Oh my goodness, but wait, the costumes. I was out till probably 4 in the morning.
I was just hoping Kalani wasn't gonna fall off the steps.
Yeah, I know. You always wondered if she was on it and in it, or if she was ooh. But the kids did an amazing job. It was an amazing number. It was all about being in the waiting room, and some of the people had been in an accident. You can tell that their bandaged or they're bleeding or this or that. You know, when you go to the hospital waiting room, just like I was recently in another emergency room waiting room, waiting to be seen, and it was an incredible number. And we always have to pull the stop sign, you know, to find something that we haven't done before, something that we maybe did years ago before television, and it comes back to us like, oh, let's do this again. And to find something new that's never been done. So this competition was bizarre to begin with.
I just remember what it was called.
This guy, and they were owners, and the girl was like a former cruise ship dancer.
Kid judging, or was that not that one?
No. And they had a falling out too after this. So anyway, we all got up and walked out. When they announced the winners.
When they announced that the waiting room was second.
That's when we left.
We did. But then the guy tried to come
in the
over
parking lot
and like tell us that it was wrong, or tell us that, well, you won this and here's this paper, and he's like throwing papers at us with all these different scores on it, and it was
well,
like,
you won the talent, but you didn't win this, and you didn't win the costume, but you won this.
And well, Mackenzie won the title, but we didn't announce it.
We forgot to announce the title. They didn't want us to. The TV show didn't want us to announce the title, and she won the title.
Well, that right there.
I was in the parking lot. Like, I was gone. I was getting in my car, and they were literally, the guys, like the camera crew and the sound guys, were trying to stop our cars from pulling out. But the mothers finally agreed, finally listened, and walked with me, and we all went. We looked really bad. It looked bad. We looked like we were pouty little, spoiled, rotten brats, and we were. We were. Because we had worked hard, we knew what we were doing, we knew the number was going to win. You know when you're sitting there, when you're beat or not. The athletes always lost a lot of times.
We've seen numbers that are like, oh, that
number's going to be
going to win.
Yes.
Not
but how about when you were a kid and we were at the competition? We knew when we got there, we knew looking in the program. I love this. I used to have dance teachers and parents and other people tell me that when they got to a competition and they saw Mark Meyer's name in the program, that he was against them, they pulled out. They just scratched their solos because they just didn't want to lose to him again and again and again. That makes you feel amazing, right? And they're coming and telling you that, so that's great. But I think you paid, you should get out there and do the dance. So anyway, we never pull numbers, we don't scratch things. Well, I probably did here and there to punish a child or the parent. Say, you know what, keep complaining about the routine. Go ahead, because nobody cares, she's not doing it. Too bad. Because you just get sick of hearing their mouths. But that competition, yeah, something fishy was going on. And I know it was a producer. There was one producer, well, many producers that we had over the years that didn't know squat about dance. Actually, the guy that gets credited with creating the entire show had never been to a dance competition before shooting Dance Moms. That's a little crazy, isn't it?
And all of the people behind the scenes picking the music or picking the themes or picking, you know, who should dance, what they should dance to, what the routine should be about, have never danced.
Never danced, never went to dancing school, never competed, never won a competition, never even got a participation trophy. Nothing.
I remember going.
And they're telling us what this child's going to do, and this is the music she's going to use. It's ridiculous. That's why I should have been an executive producer.
I remember for season 8, I was helpful in the casting of the season, or just kind of saying, you know, once they had their moms and their kids, who could actually dance and this and that. And I remember one day I was in the office and we were sitting at a table, and jokingly I was like, who's danced before? Like, has anyone in here ever danced?
You were joking. You were trying to have them raise their hands.
No one raised their hand.
Yeah.
Not one person. I thought they were I thought they were kidding. And I was like, not even when you were little, like not even like when you were 4 or 5 and didn't tap and do ballet. Nobody.
No one. How do you work on a television series as a producer, producing dance routines, dance numbers, dance choreography on a stage, and you never took a dance lesson in your life? To all the producers from Dance Moms, you're not that good. Trust me, you're not that good. So there you have it. The competitions, as far as we're concerned, not fixed.
No, not at all.
No. What the judges are doing, what the competition directors are doing, and are they listening to the producers? Are the producers in their ear telling them, this is who we want to win this week, this is who we don't want to win?
We
don't
have
know.
no idea.
We have no idea. Did they try? I bet they tried.
I'm sure they tried.
Yes. So there you have it.
I remember one of the producers telling me one time, the season that we had a winning streak, it was like 13 or 14 wins in a row of group dances. I remember season 4, okay.
Yeah.
I remember one of the producers came up to me and said, it's getting boring that you're winning every week. I said, well, not for a dance teacher, it's not, but okay.
Not for parents that are paying.
So,
Not for other customers we want to have.
and I've never heard that. Like I was so shocked. It threw me so off to hear that the show was getting boring because we were winning all the time.
No, the show was
So I'm sure that they tried to have their say in who they wanted to win to push the story along.
Right. And then there was always, I had to watch because we were mics constantly. I would have a microphone on, I would fall asleep and the microphone would still be on. And if I knew that a studio was attending the competition and they had a really good kid, or they were just a really good studio, and they were friends of mine, friends for years.
Oh, we're gonna see so and so this weekend. They
Yes,
live in Ohio.
we're gonna see studio whatever, and they're gonna be in Virginia, and we love them, and they're so good. They would pick up on
They
that
would hear it, call them,
and
say,
get their best kid, the age of whoever we had competing, to go against us. Then when we came in and we sat in the theater,
they would be behind us.
they'd be behind us. But then the kid that we were talking about amongst ourselves would be on the stage right before our kid to throw our kids off.
I mean, we could have been talking like in the parking lot or talking at lunch and they still hear us. So that's how a lot of that stuff happens also.
Yes, they just overhear you and they run with it and go with it because guess what? They can't really produce anything themselves. They just take it from us and manipulate it and rework it. And that's it. So, if you always wanted to know if the competitions are fixed or not,
Now you know.
now you know. If you have any more questions about competition tips and tricks, then ask us. We're there every Sunday on Zoom.
We teach every Sunday.
Yes, and I'd be happy to take your questions and give you the answers.
Yeah, same. See you there.